fans, Ryan Aho here from the One to Go Show, bringing you another installment of the BuyRaceShirts.com One to Go Show Midwest Mod Power Rankings. First, a little shout out to our friends at Minnesota Truck Headquarters, the #1 place to go for pre-owned trucks in the state of Minnesota. You're going to check them out. Mike and the whole crew, they do a lot for dirt track racing, just advocates of the sport. So check them out, Minnesota Truck Headquarters. So, little shout out here. Got a few shout outs. Excuse me. First wins, right? Tony Smith, first career win up at the Cheyenne Speedway in Lisbon. It's the tip of the cap. Congratulations. Hopefully, there's more to come soon. Aaron Michael, first career win. Another one in North Dakota. This one happening in Jamestown, North Dakota. And then McLean Andrews up in Hibbing, Minnesota. He's a Superior driver. Really, really good at Superior and Proctor. I think he normally runs Ashland on Saturday. They rained out. He made a rare trip up to the Hibbing Raceway and was bolted. I watched that one. He flat out checked out, and I was shocked because I did not think that was his first career feature win, but it was. Congratulations on a job well done. Big wins this weekend. Steve Haas, right? Steve Haas. That Haas family, I think back to the early 80s, late model cool hauler coming in, rollback type deal that was kind of decked out. But Steve Haas, B-Mod special over at Jerry's World in Jim Falls. Tip of the cap on a big win over there to you. So let's jump into the top 10 for this week. And before we do, a little shout out to our friends at BuyRaceShirts.com. For racers, by racers. If you need hats, shirts, hoodies, apparel of any kind, banners, if you need it for your race team, for your sponsors, for clubs, you name it, right? Any kind of apparel needs, they can do it all. Great pricing, great products, great selection. That's BuyRaceShirts.com. At number 10, I got a little grief about this from a buddy of mine, but guess what? It is what it is. This guy's been stacking wins. You stack wins, that gets you in the top 10. I'm going to put Swerve and Mervyn Castle in there. The 10 ride from Grand Rapids. Guess what? Another win at the Grand Rapids Speedway this past week. 5th in Hibbing. Said he wasn't real happy with a couple things that happened there. That was kind of his own deal, right? But 4 wins, I believe, is his most ever in a single season. Mervyn Castle, that's 4 wins in 7 races. That's a pretty good start to 2023. We're going to put him at number 10. At number 9, number 9. This is Ellsworth, Wisconsin driver Brandon Jensen, guy that I raced against. I ran against him in the super stock division. Kind of ruffle each other's feathers just a little bit in there, but the Jensen family been around racing for a long time. His brother's really good as well, but he didn't race this past weekend. He just raced once. He doesn't race much, right? He's got 5 shows, and he's got 2 wins. This week, 11th to 2nd at the Cedar Lake Speedway. He's money there. Month of money coming up, $5,000. Probably look pretty good in his pocket. He's probably got to be one of the favorites to win that. Brandon Jensen at number 9. And, there's a few drivers here that could probably be significantly higher if they just race more, but I get it. I mean, it ain't free to go travel around with a race car. I mean, we got to pay some bills. So Brandon Jensen at number 9. Another guy here that I really wish this guy raced more, David Swearingen at number 8. So this past weekend, didn't get any races in. Pretty much run just Ogilvy. 1 win on the year, 3 podiums and 4 tries, and give him a little grief. I said, Dino, you got to open up that checkbook. Last I checked, I think they have 2 cars, and man, I ain't seen that D1 out there for a while in the street stock. I'll be honest with you, right? David Swearingen, really good race car driver. That other B-Mod they have sitting there would look really good with a D1 on the side of it. I'm just saying. At number 7, Adam Brotherton from Huron. So this past weekend, features rained out at the Brown County Speedway in Aberdeen. They're going to make those up. 3rd at Miller, 5th at Casino. Not quite the week he was looking for. 2 wins, which were out of his 11 races. His first 2 were wins. So he's kind of have a little bit of a lull, 7 podiums, so it's not been all bad. But we got to get that 14 back in victory lane to get you back up in the top 5. Brotherton at number 7. At number 6, St. Andrews, Manitoba driver, Brandon Rehill. Now, I'm going to get some grief on this because he come down to the States and old Lance Schill kind of put it to him over there at River Cities. But Rehill, when you get up north, 9th to 2nd at Winnipeg, when he's north of the border on his home turf, A lot of drivers really good on their home turf. He's really good on his home turf. And he's traveling down to the States where he didn't typically run a lot. So that's going to maybe be a little bit of a learning curve for him. I tell you, if you can win north of the border, you can win south of the border. He just hasn't quite transitioned into that yet. And that's what's going to keep him outside of the top five. And we'll see what happens. He got fourth at Grand Forks. Started on the pole, kind of went backwards there. So not something you see too often out of the 4B. 6 shows, half of them on the podium. You've got a pair of wins on the year. It's still early. I think he's going to get a bunch. I'm going to put Rehill at number 6. Now let's jump into the top 5. Another driver that just did not race this week. Weather happened out west. Tony Liker, him and his brother, both really good drivers. So he's got 5 wins and a second and 2 DNFs in 8 tries. Tell you, they got their big deal out there for the Midwest Mods is a Mountain States Mod Tour. And I don't know, it's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully both of these two got things clicking, him and his brother, because it'll be very interesting to see which one comes out on top. Of course, Troy Liker won that last year. Tony won it the year before, I believe. So Liker at number 5. Now, he's got 5 wins, and I said, man, that's 5 down, 25 to go. And he said, bullshit, I'm quitting at 29. So, oh, man, I hope he's lying, because it's always good for racing to have the Likers in the conversation for a national championship. At number 4, on the rise, Morris, Minnesota's Corey Stork. This kid's talented, second-generation guy. This week, he got second at Ada. He won over at the Fiesta City Speedway in Montevideo. Kind of had a little bit of an off night at Viking. He ended up 6th. Started 4th row. Track was pretty fast through the middle, and he just could not get any clean air to get to the front. Here I'm making excuses for him, but he's a wheel man. So, King of Dirt in the top 5 both nights. You know, on the podium, 10 out of 12 races. So he's there. Some of the top drivers in that area, right, where he races, are no longer racing on a weekly basis in the Midwest Modified Division. That opens the door for who? Corey Stork. There's a few others here that are kind of hunting down some wins. But Corey Stork right now on the rise, I have him at number 4. At number 3, this guy might fade a little bit. Depends on if he sticks with the modified or if he gets back to running some Midwest Mod stuff. But at number 3, I have the Nightmare, Lucas Rodin. 3 wins, 9 podiums in 10 tries, by the way. So he's always up front, no matter what. This week, 8th to 3rd over at Jamestown. Just ran out of time to get to the front, but he runs well at all the specials. Every single special he's been to, he's been on the podium. He's in the conversation. If he decided that he's going to race for a natty, I don't know if he's gonna or not, but if he did, he'd be in the conversation for sure. Rodin, a talented race car driver, we're going to put him at number 3. At number 2, Watertown's Mike Nichols. So this week, second at Casino, kind of like Brower, lost to the little brother. He's happy for his little brother, though. His brother's kind of coming around. Tommy the Tank, pretty darn good driver himself. Finally got him a little bit better equipment to kind of match up with what Mikey has. But Mike Nichols at number 2 right now, got a kid on the way. I don't know. I guess I should have looked. I'm not sure if his kid was born yet or not, but that's going to cut into the racing a little bit. Going to be welcoming a new little one into the world here. So kind of excited for that. Mikey Nichols at number 2. And let's talk about Dirt Race Central before we bring you number 1. Now, unless you live under a rock, you know that Dirt Race Central is the official streaming platform of the One to Go show and of Wissota Auto Racing. So John, Ben, and the whole crew, they do a fantastic job, and they get racing coverage. They have so many races every single week, and they cover all across Wissota land. And I tell you what, they do a bang-up job. So if you don't have a subscription to that, you best get one, because they do an awesome job, and it's all the drivers that you race against on a weekly basis. So at number 1, and quite honestly, it's not real close right now. This guy's kind of on a tear. Princeton, Minnesota's driver, the 17B. This is Zach Benson. So this week, DNF at Red Cedar. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? There's drivers saying, I don't know if he would have won anyway. Maybe not, right? Red Cedar's a tough, unique racetrack, hard to win at. But he DNF'd over there. But then he went back to Ogilvie, parked in Victory Lane, 8th to 2nd at Granite behind the track owner. James Trantina, incidentally, taking the 19X and finding Victory Lane Spent a lot of trips there the last couple of years, congratulating everybody else. This week, he got to congratulate himself down in Victory Lane. Zach Benson probably wanted it to be him because he's hunting a national championship right now, and he's been absolutely on a tear, winning everything in sight, special after special after special, and he's hungry. He's racing a bunch. He's up in Grand Rapids tonight, doing the show tonight on a Thursday night, so you can have it fresh Friday morning. We'll see how it turns out. I think he's starting 8th up there. He's got a little work to do, but Zach Benson kind of right now sitting in the 1 slot for the national championship title race. He has 8 wins on the year, which is the most wins out of any driver in WISSOTA Midwest Modified Division. They take the top 30, 8 down, 22 to go for Zach Benson, the #1 driver in the BuyRaceShirts.com 1 to Go Show Midwest Mod Power Rankings.